Let me tell you a story. I am 6 years old and my birthday is celebrated with cakes. Everyone in my family is gathered at home. And my mom just rolls in with a trolley. In this trolley is filled with gifts, and one of them, being the best gift, is a brand new Nintendo DS Lite, and it's bundled with the new Super Mario Brothers and Mario Kart DS. But that's the best gift you can get ever, right? As a little kid, a brand new console, like, and it's all yours. I'd play on it for hours every single day, and in the weekends, it's kind of a core memory. But in the weekends, I would wake up at kind of like 6 a.m. Really early as a child, and the first thing I would do is just pull up my DS and just play on it for hours. It was really nice gift and a really nice memories. Of course, late at nights as well, right? And I think we all can relate to that kind of feeling where you're a little child and it's way past your bedtime, but one of your parents, in my case it was my dad, I would play on the DS and I would just hear he slowly approaching the hallway. So I had to just kind of hide my DS, and it's always under the pillow. So he'd come in, lock the door up, and then I'll just pretend to sleep. I'm not gonna lie, he wanted to check up on me, but I'm not gonna lie. It was several times where he would just pretend he left. So I would just grab my DS and then he caught me, right? And or other instances, I was a bit too late about hiding my DS, so I'd close it, and everyone who's owned a DS knows that when you close a Mario game with the DS, Mario goes like this like little coin sound, like that little bling, and it says like bye bye, like it says bye bye at the most inconvenient time, and it's always so super loud. So of course your parents gotta hear it, and yeah, get scolded after that. So sorry about that, Dad. My DS over the years has been really toyed with a lot. I played like so much that the D-pad got really worn down. I had it in for multiple repairs, trying to resuscitate that little machine, and eventually it got replaced like something like 2011 or something, when the original 3DS came in, the one that had the little circle pad. So as you could tell, video games has always been a really big part of my life. If I didn't directly play the games myself, I would always just watch playthroughs or just watch other YouTubers play through games that I didn't exactly own myself, like on my phone and or my family computer. So you'd watch it, you'll play it, you'll talk to it about the games that you played with other friends. Like, games are all in just games is all about the life. Like, your life is just all about the games that you play. Similarly, when things are just adjusted in your life that way, of course it just becomes a very natural part of your day and you just take for granted, right? It's your favorite hobby. Later in my teenage years, I was becoming more socially awkward, where you didn't really have people come over to your house to play. Like, it's not that kind of age, so people won't like play with you. So being just socially awkward and having less and less contact with other people, you naturally just get more free time. Well, if you're a teenager and just get more boring free time, of course you're going to fill in that time with something. I didn't have any side job, and I just did all my chores anyways, so I just naturally just played on my home console, playing on my DS whenever I had the free time. Eventually, I remember that I had one day where it was just summer vacation. I had really nothing to do. It was really sunny outside, but at I believe something like 2 to 3 p.m., I would just hear my father approach my room, and he'd open the door, and he would just find me laying in bed, like laying on the side. I'd watch a playthrough of Zelda Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64, and I had just a bag of chips besides me, and he just looked at me with such a disgusted look. He looked both like disappointed and disgusted. Like, what the hell are you doing? Right? You're not doing anything productive. And he gave me just this shameful look. It was just a really uncomfortable situation. And he naturally just scolded me, right? He naturally just say something like that. I need to go outside, I need to do things, right? But, well, if you don't really fill in your time with any important task, or you just don't find any pleasures in other tasks that you're supposed to do, right? You're naturally just going to fill in the time with something. So I'd play or just watch video games. So following that instance, I've always just felt it uncomfortable when people just walked in on me on when I was just really not doing anything. I would just feel uncomfortable playing games with other people around me. I didn't like it when they barged into my room. I didn't like when they just tried to start a conversation about how do you play the games. Like, I didn't want people in my room to play. It just felt really uncomfortable. But, like, really though, what can you do in that kind of situation? If you're an awkward teen and no one really looks after you, right? You just do the habits that you always grown with, right? You always do the hobbies that you've grown up with. I was just really an uncool kid growing up, right? I had almost no friends, and I always had this kind of lonely feeling about myself. So naturally, just playing video games or just being entertained on my phone with similar gameplay, like it felt comfortable, right? It was a mere escape from my just shitty experiences, if you could say something like that. The gaming industry is such a dirty business, I've come to realize over the years. It's just such an alluring business to men to kind of get them in and let them sink in that kind of hobby. It's kind of like a boomer thing to say, but games aren't exactly what they used to be. It's such a dirty business to get hooked in and kind of let you stay in that kind of sphere, right? For men, the sense of community, leveling up, the prestige, they're all sectors that the game developers have mastered, and they know the science behind their target demographic. Like, they all master these kind of aspects about being a man. Like, and of course, if we just talk about character designs as well, right? You got lots of games with just female character designs just designed provocatively, just shamelessly, trying to get the men and kind of the weird sweaty gamers, trying to let them get such an unhealthy obsession with half-naked women. Once they're kind of interested in that, they in turn hope that you get more invested in the game. Like this unhealthy obsession with just objectifying women. As someone who's been gaming almost all my life, and I didn't have any strict parents or anything. I didn't grow up with any sets of house rules when it came to video games. I haven't joined any kind of anti-gaming cultures or anything like that. I'm just simply an ex-gamer with the discovery on why gaming is such an unhealthy habit to have when you want to progress in life about self-improvement. As of right now, I don't play any games at all. Like, as a child, I didn't have the PC. We had like a home computer, but it was just so shitty and old. It was really slow. Windows XP on it. That says a lot. It was just so laggy. And my dad didn't really want me to kind of use it. He didn't want me to bug around with it or just destroy it. So all I had was just single player games. That was like at the time very, very fun, but I never had that kind of sense of brotherhood that you get by online gaming, as many of my fellow classmates had. Right, I was simply in it all because the game was fun. If the game wasn't fun, like, I didn't want to play it. It's really that simple. So I don't really get that sense of addiction that many people have with the gaming nowadays. But of course, like, I've always been prone to give video games myself, and it's kind of been a harder journey to kind of detox away from it. Games when you are a child are fun, but as you get older, I always just got this very dirty feeling whilst playing or either watching gameplay. I just found it kind of embarrassing when people just found me playing like seemingly like childhood games. At the same time, when you're kind of being reflective about it, it seems weird that you kind of had to defend your hobby. Like, people don't really get why you like it so much. If you just have to defend a habit, it's most likely not a good thing to have. It was until years later, when we were talking about 19, 20, 21 years old, that I stumbled upon Hamza's video on his take on video games. And it felt kind of conflicting, but at the same time, he's kind of open-minded when it comes to video games. I always did the actionable step that he represented in this video. So the actions that I did to kind of get a new take on video games and kind of detox away from it, I found 3 of my favorite games that I had. I had 2 Zelda games, and I had one on the old Nintendo 64s that I have back home. And the 2 Zelda games was Breath of the Wild, that came on the Wii U. I had the Wind Waker, who originally came on the GameCube, and Banjo-Kazooie. So I really love those 3 games. Kind of neat. I've grown up with Nintendo, so naturally those other games are appealing to me. I would pick up my 3 games. I'd take my phone, place it on top of some books, and have the camera app just pointed at me, at my face, like this. I would have my wristwatch beside me, as I was going to record myself playing 1 hour each about the one game. And I had to, between sessions, like exactly 1 hour, I would just turn off the game and switch over to the next game, and then start the timer again. So 1 hour each. I had to take breaks between those sessions because the phone was getting really hot and it didn't really like recording that much, so I just had to cool it down before I played on even further. So after those sessions, and I had the game for 3 hours, I would simply take my tapes. I would then plug the phone into my PC and just whip up the recordings. I was going to watch through my recordings at 5 times speed, and every time I would make kind of an expression whilst playing, just facial expressions, I was going to count down like 1 single point on my paper. And the expressions I chose was just frowning or anger, or just simple feelings that would just explain anger. I would count smiling as an expression. The last one I would just call a laugh, like if it's something just really funny. Not a single time whilst playing in those 3 hours, I did not laugh 1 time at all. And that was kind of amusing. Like, it's kind of shocking. Like, you play games to entertain yourself, but you're not really laughing like you would in kind of a friend group situation. Whilst playing Breath of the Wild, I smiled only once where something kind of good happened, and I had 4 frowns. It was really boring to watch myself because almost all of the recording was just me sitting in front of the screen and having such a blank expression like this. Like that. Just a very basic expression whilst just flickering back and forth with my eyes. In the Wind Waker, I had 2 frowns, 1 smile, and 0 laughs. And Banjo-Kazooie, my personal favorite game, I just had 2 frowns and 3 smiles. No laughs, right? And almost like 99.9% of the footage, just blank expression. Nothing at all. And it was such a weird experiment because you'd expect that something that gives you kind of this pleasure would also grant you this happiness. It just explained to me that I was just being bored. Of course, being this kind of experimental phase, I just told one of my buddies from high school about my founds, my findings, about my experience, but it just thought me as an idiot. It just thought it was a dumbass. Most games that you play are not fun. It's simply the aspect of having someone there, or just having someone you watch play the game and commentate. It's that kind of sense of friendship that really pulls you in, right? Like the most popular format of gaming is online gaming, multiplayer games, right? You got Fortnite, you got Call of Duty, right? You get this online servers that you play. It's that sense of community that makes playing a game great. If you boot up Minecraft, you don't play alone on a server you just made alone, right? Most people play Minecraft in a community server where they join in and play with others, or at least invite friends to play in a server with them, right? You don't boot up your Nintendo console and play Mario Kart, just Grand Prix mode all the time, right? You don't do that. You log in on Worldwide Play and you play other top players, or at least someone that matches your skills. If you're a mobile gamer, as soon as you have rebuilt like the clan castle from Clash of Clans, the first thing that 95% of people do is join a clan. It's not simply because you get the perks about clan wars and everything. It's also to just chat with people and have that sense of community. Like, people don't play games alone. Either joining a clan with other strangers or join a clan where your classmates are. And if you're in a kind of position where you don't even play the games yourself, there are thousands of Let's Play channels, thousands of just commentary gameplay, or at least you can find like Twitch clips about people speedrunning and you have the chat beside them talking to the player. Or you just have friend groups playing through a game and they enjoy themselves and you watch them play a game, but you also look at them from the commentary, right? You get this sort of connection with these type of people and you get this kind of pseudo happiness. Like, it feels like you're in the group whilst you're not really in that group. Of course, you don't like people like me who kind of attack you for your habits, right? I would say that most people will kind of criticize my opinions on this with something like that, like, oh, you get like celebrities who plays games. Like, you may have Messi, you may have Ronaldo playing some games. Like, if you're a chess player, you have Magnus Carlsen like playing FIFA or whatever, right? Elon Musk maybe plays Fortnite, maybe Trump. Like, you have these kind of celebrities and famous people playing games, but it's not the same thing, right? Because they play while they just have a little free time to kind of enjoy themselves. And these are men, these are people who made it, right? They're celebrities, they have worked hard in their positions. And if you think you're going to compare with them, you're not them at all. Like, they're millionaires, they're billionaires, and they have done the hard work. Like, you can't compare themselves because they have at least have something to show, and you and I, we're not. We have nothing to show. You just play games. And you might tell me that the games are just simply to rewind, kind of relax after a hard day. First off, games aren't relaxing at all. I worked at a hospital where I had several patients who were going to come in for a checkup, trying to check for seizures and something like that. My job was simply to have them come in, not give them food, not give them anything with caffeine, just simply water. And they were just going to sit up all night. The next day, the doctor would come in and take them in, and they'd hook them up, take the EEG test, and they'd wire them up with these kind of sensors in the scalp. You can see kind of their brain activity whilst they was in for a checkup. You'll see kind of on a sheet of paper, it would fire off this like wave, and they would close their eyes, open, they'd breathe excessively. Just as simple as looking at different parts of the wall would spike up their brain activity. Just very simple, basic activities. And it flared off, well, just presented with different like coloring screens, like you get these kind of flashing colors. It would also spike up like that. Like, stimuli is everywhere. And if you can simply get stimulated from closing and opening your eyes, certainly if you get this sort of video game experience where it's lots of noises, lots of stimuli, lots of colors, lots of women, like, of course that's going to flare up your brain activity. Games are not relaxing at all. Your brain fried from it. You get so much impulses. The only dead proof thing you can do to relax is simply sleeping. That rests your brain. Sleep. You're quite active when you play video games. And even if you're even like me, you just kind of get mad at playing video games. Like some bullshit happens, right? You also get this other emotions while playing the game. But I bet you, as an adult, you do not play for just half an hour. You don't play for 1 hour, you play for several hours. And I know that because I did it. I did the same too. I'd play for hours. You don't need that much rewind after a hard day. You just do the bare minimum that requires you from a job. It's not that hard work you're doing. I know the feeling of a 9 to 5 is shitty, but you don't need 6 hours of intense gaming to compensate for your shitty work. Like, I bet you that your 9 to 5 does not make you that exhausted that you need to rest the entire rest of the day whilst playing games. It's simply just playing games is just to fill in that kind of void that you doesn't really get from a 9 to 5. And I get it, right? 9 to 5 sucks at all. That kind of sucks, and just play games kind of to fill in that little gap, that little something that feels missing from your job. Just working at a soulless corporation, or just work with other colleagues that you don't really feel, that doesn't really make you feel very important. But I get that feeling. Video games are like other addictions that you may have. These companies are so masterful to try to keep you in. Nothing plays into that more. Just having published games that aren't really finished at all. You pay for like a base game that's buggy and it's not good at all. And I have to pay even more to just get the full experiences that you should have whilst playing just the starter pack. You have games that are just pay to win. Like, so you got unfinished messes, or just Fallout pay to win. Like, those games kind of suck. They're not good at all. Or you just have games that does give you like the base content. It's just ridiculously priced. Like the new Mario Kart game is coming out and it's $80 to $90. And you may say that, oh, the game must be good because it's expensive. Nintendo knows what they're doing. And they know exactly that. People may not like the price, but they're going to spend money anyways. Like, the worst type is that most gamers doesn't really mind the price because they're going to pay for it anyways. So they can just, corporations like that can just get away. If you are kind of awakened and you want to start your self-improvement journey, you need to know that video games do make you fight for them. And they do make you fight for the very thing that is stabbing you in the back and shoving sticks into your tires. It halters your progression, and it is an addiction. I know that. Like, I've been a gamer all my life, and I can tell you that it's not worth it at all. It spends so much time, it spends so much energy. The worst thing is that you don't really attract people who are on a self-improvement journey whilst gaming. You need to let that thing behind. I think that I'm an asshole. But really, if you really want to try to prove me wrong, go out, just pick your games that you want to play, place a camera just like I did, grab a watch and play for a session. Just record yourself and see how much fun you're really having whilst playing games. If you're just going to play single player games, then you'll notice it right away. And if you're going to play online games, you'll also just find the discovery that you really like the sense of community. You like to talk with other people whilst playing the games. Furthermore, you may realize that once you have logged off the game, you just realize that the people you play with, the teammates that you have, they don't really mind your existence at all. They don't message you back or just talk about you or just talk with you other than the game itself. People don't pay attention to you. It's not worth for your future self. Join my community down below on my Discord. Click the link. Stay strong. Work on.